Let's go, girls. Welcome to Talk Wealthy to Me. I'm Michelle Taylor, founder of Women in Wealth. From breaking money myths to building wealth and achieving financial freedom, we're here to empower you to create your own path. Talk Wealthy. Now, join the conversation and let's change the way women think and feel about money. Okay, ready? Today's guest is Debora Mendonça, the Director of Operations at The Glass Knife, a multi-million-dollar bakery and cafe brand based right here in Winter Park, Florida. Originally from Brazil, Debora immigrated to the United States with a suitcase, a dream, and a relentless determination. You'll see it served her well. From learning English by trading cigarettes for conversations with strangers in New York City, to rising through the hospitality ranks and eventually becoming a general manager in fine dining. Her journey is one of grit, resilience, and bold self-belief. But today, we're going to go beyond titles and accolades. We're going to talk about Debora's money story, what it meant to start from scratch in a new country, how her relationship with money evolved as she rose into leadership, and what building wealth on her terms looks like right now. Okay, friends, you are in for so much fun. I am joined today by Debora. So glad that you're here. Thank you for spending some time with us.
Thank you, Michelle, for the invite. It's a pleasure. I'm very excited for this.
So you have such a great story. And for anybody that is local here to the Central Florida area, Debora has worked in the corporate space and is now in C-suite for The Glass Knife, which is a really special, unique concept that most of us Orlandonians love. So I'll let you, though, tell us all about you and give the audience their first exciting description of who you are.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle, for the invite. Hello, everybody. So like Michelle said, currently I'm the COO of The Glass Knife, which is a big historical bakery here in Central Florida in Winter Park. We just expanded to 2 locations. Yeah. We have an industrial kitchen as well. So we're about 100 employees now, which is very exciting.
That's great.
Scaling and growing is so much fun for me. There's so many lessons that we've learned there. But I started, I'm an immigrant from Brazil. So I moved here by myself when I was 21, 22, pursuing an acting career.
Wow.
Yes, it was wild. I really wanted to study at this college that had a 1-year full-time program. Of course, I couldn't afford it. So I got the 1 month first, selling everything I had in Brazil just to pay for that 1 month.
Been there.
And I really stood up in the class while other people did 2 short films on this 1 month. I did 16. So the school really was like, who is this girl? I was knocking in every class to say, use me for your film. You know, I can hold the mic.
Hustler.
I can be an actor. I can be a director, whatever you need.
Yep.
They ended up giving then a scholarship for the 1 year. And that's how I kind of stayed a little longer. I kept growing the acting career, but to pay the bills, I had to always work hospitality. Mm-hmm. So I started as busing, serving, host, barista, working at 4 in the morning to make coffees before school, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then working as a bartender after school. It was really an exhausting period. After I graduated schools, I think I was just really emotionally drained. It was about 4 years later. I did 1 year acting for film, and then the school hired me to work for them. And then I got another scholarship for screenwriting.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, by the end, I'm like, I just want a stable life. Like, I can't keep working 2 jobs plus a full-time school. And restaurants were really happening. I was growing within the restaurant industry. And I paused and I said, well, I keep fighting for this. And it's not necessarily flowing the way it should at this point. And I'm exhausted. Meanwhile, I look to my right and I'm growing organically without real intentions at this point, just, you know, from busing to coming easier. Yeah, easier, I guess. Nothing was really easy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And I'm like, let me just pause and pay attention to what life is giving to me. And then I really started investing in the hospitality career.
So I think that, spoiler alert, you hustled and went after whatever was in front of you that meant something to you. Yeah. And I think that is such a common theme with so many amazing women that have been on the show or that I have the pleasure of working with and talking to. If you are willing to work for it, whatever it is, the opportunities are limitless. And to hear the stories and hear what that it is for so many different people, it's just incredible. So I think that the ability that you had to work for the acting career, you came over here. I want to hear about that. I mean, I'm sure I'd love to hear if your family was like, goodbye, go, or like, are you crazy? But that took a big leap of faith, betting on yourself. Huge, huge requirement, I think, for any kind of success is betting on the things you can control, and that's you. But then getting here and working for something and then recognizing this is coming easier. Let me work as hard for this and let's see what the universe has in store for me. And here we are. So you've like lived so many lives and had so much success already.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Thank you. I'm just starting to understand that because I'm coming out of the struggles of surviving.
Mm-hmm.
Within the past 5 years is really when I can loudly say I am a successful businesswoman, but I couldn't for the last 16 years where I was just working towards this goal.
Yeah.
So just now, a little bit in it that I can look back and say, wow, I was really brave to go through everything. It was extremely difficult and even mentally threatening, your health, your mental health. You're by yourself in a country. I didn't speak English when I came here. I didn't have money. I didn't have any connections or resources or emotional support or family. It's a lot that you put yourself through if you have a strong goal and if you have a strong sense of self, knowing what you're capable of. And maybe you weren't born with those opportunities, but if you have something special that you want to fight for, you can get there.
Yeah. So, okay. Where do you even start? One of the things that I would love, going back to what I just said, is how did your family, how did they feel about you leaving to come and chase this thing?
Before I decided to move to New York on my own, when I was 16, I decided to leave the suburbs of my state in Brazil, Espírito Santo, to move to São Paulo.
Yeah.
The biggest city in Brazil with 20 million people at the time. I don't know how many there are now. So it was already, miles and miles
apart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I don't know, 6 hours apart or whatever. So that was my first step of breaking out. And I remember at 16, you're just a child, and I had this certainty within me that that's what I had to do. So my mom sat down with me and she said, well, you're very young. There are going to be so many challenges you're going to face. But if this is what you strongly feel about, if this is what you strongly feel that you have to do, you can go and do what you want to do. The worst thing that can happen is you come back and I'm here waiting for you. If you need, my love back or if you want to feel supported. So I remember my mom taking like a 1 week's vacation so we hopped on a bus, went to São Paulo to find like a not a hostel, like a long-term hostel. I don't know how those are called here. People share rooms and stuff.
Yeah.
When they can't afford,
I know what you
renting
mean,
something.
It's like
almost a dorm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
But for adults, not a college dorm.
Well, I know. And I lived in Italy and I had some friends and I was trying to think like a pensione. Which is,
exactly.
Yeah.
It was a pension. Here pension is money, right? I don't know. The translation of languages, guys, sometimes get really rough. But yeah, so we ended up finding this 4-bedroom home that was
like a compound.
Dorm, a compound with 16 women. Girl. And I haven't even finished high school. So it was really difficult. They ended up putting me with an older woman, which she was the age that I am now. Imagine for somebody my age living with 16 girls, like the frustration. So she already had so much baggage that she ditched on me. I wasn't even aware of what was going on, but she was very picky, very kind of mentally abusive. And it was the challenge started from the bus ride. You know what I mean? And so São Paulo, I stayed there on my own for 6 years. So that gave me a little bit of a confidence baggage. I've learned it was really a school that prepared me to New York City.
Do you feel like you've had to like resell people on your vision a million times? Like listening to this, I'm just thinking about you telling your mom, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to move 6 hours away. And she's like, here we go. And then you get there and you're there and you're like, okay, now what? I'm going to New York.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be an actress. And then you get here and then
Yeah.
you're like, pivot again.
Yeah.
Now, I relate to that so much. And I feel like so many of the ladies listening will as well, because I think that natural reinvention happens with anybody that's chasing like this version of success, whatever that looks like for them. You know, I did the same thing. I sold my family on moving to Italy after college and switching majors in college, and then becoming an entrepreneur, and then that didn't work. And then I shifted to another business and then an industry. And, you know, I think that if they feel your passion, and I think that anybody listening can already feel yours, that they were probably like, we're going to bet on you too, you know?
Yeah. And it's funny because I always called my mom when these struggles happen. And now, you know, I suffered so much. I'm like, oh, I want to come back. It's just like, okay, come back. And I'm like, no. So I just wanted to vent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never really gave up on myself.
Did your version of success when you were younger, has it always looked the same or has it changed? And I guess what I'm asking you is, you know, was success like very much tied to, I'm going to be an actress, I'm going to be on the big screen? Or was it, I want to be an actress because I want to be able to do this, and now you're able to do it, and it kind of transcends industries?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about that.
For me, the idea of success changed so much drastically. I think in the beginning, you know, when I started this at 16, 17, I wanted recognition and love from the outside, which is not necessarily what I recommend to people, but with the lack of maturity and age, you know, that's what you can expect. People want the attention, the
and
love,
approval,
the praise,
maybe.
the approval. As I grow, I understand that it has changed completely. At some point, it was money, right? With the power, like the power trip, like the title and the money and the ability to do things, the material things. And I think at this point that I am now, it needs to be fulfilling for my soul. And I find that in my leadership style, I really praise a better way of living for everybody that works with me. I want them to find better ways of solving their challenges or going through their battles with my support, whatever that looks like for them. And really, this really gives me a purpose. You know, it's more than donuts.
It's an impact.
It's an impact. I think wealth for me has a lot to do with community building as well.
Well, and because, especially in your industry, there can be a lot of turnover. And I think that when you take a minute to allow an employee to feel cared for and to feel like you're invested in their own version of success, whatever that looks like, it effectively helps you on the bottom line as someone who's very much interested in that as a COO, and is impacting them what could be for the rest of their lives. Because very often, we've all heard, employees don't quit jobs, they quit bosses and managers. Yeah. So I think that it's really amazing. So your success story has kind of been a moving target.
Yeah.
So with that, now that do you feel like, okay, I'm successful, I'm creating this impact? Is there a part of you that's going to be excited to chase that next level of success? Or do you feel like this is it? I'm here.
I have so much more to do. I'm not stopping here. Right now, I'm adding things that I wasn't aware of, such as my health, like physical health, my daily habits, the people that I surround myself with, what I do for fun. It cannot just be drinking and eating with friends at dinner. That has to be just a small percentage of my life. Otherwise, it's unbalanced. So now I'm much more aware my mental health. You know, I do therapy every single week. I am into sports now. I go to the gym every day. So I'm adding the components that will help the balance to be strong, and then I can push harder. So I got to a level of success that it was what I thought would be the limit back then. Now I'm like, wow, I can go much further. So let me balance the other stuff. The foundation. So I'm, you know, hard as a rock, and then we continue to push.
And I see all the time where people will get really excited about what they're doing and almost want to build the roof before the strong foundation.
Mhm.
Not to tie it back to finances, but that's why we're here.
Yeah.
And you can't,
Yeah.
So I think that it's really so nice to hear you say, I redefined what the success was going to be because I bet on myself. And now also recognizing if I want to take this success to this next level, I have to reinvest in the
Yes.
foundation. And now you've built a life that allows you to do so.
Yes. It's important to note too that for the last 16 years, I couldn't stop or pause to reflect on it. So it was just go, 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 go. Now you have to allow yourself to pause to first observe what has happened to you, the stuff that you've been through. So then you understand much more of your reactions, of your challenges, of your boundaries and limitations. And once you get that, and then you source for the things that is missing, like for me, it was mental health, exercise, balancing food and drinks and stuff like that, psychology, and all those other components, to now power them all together and then continue to build.
Unstoppable.
Yeah.
Okay, talking about and that is your journey. And it's so funny that you said that because I just was having this conversation on another podcast that I was a guest on. It's so funny to try and unpack. And it's not even just finance, it's religion, it's politics.
Yes.
And when we all think,
yeah.
right, it's like, well, I think you should do this. Here's the advice. And you get frustrated when someone doesn't take your advice, but your advice is only your advice because of your past experiences. So your beliefs and how you approach everything in life is a result of the things that have happened to you that no one else could possibly understand, which is why when you're chasing a version of success, it cannot be someone else's. It has to be yours.
100%. And this is such a good point that you bring, because there's so many podcasts and so many informations and guides and gurus and mentors out there. And sometimes that can be more frustrating to you than what can help, because you think if you don't fit on what they're telling you that you should do, you're a failure and it's not going to work for you and you're broken inside. And I always say the opposite is look within first instead of looking outside. Because if you don't have a good sense of yourself, very unlikely you'll feel good in your skin while you power through the challenges of your life. So for me, it's much more about looking within and seeing what motivates me. Mm-hmm. What am I really looking for here? Are there things hidden underlying the surfaces that I need to pay better attention to? And once you understand, for example, what motivates you, and then you get to choose what kind of work environment might be a better fit for you. If you like to work in a team, if it's just money, money, money. And I always say there's no right or wrong reasons.
Right.
Find what works for you.
And that's where the guilt with so many women that don't want to say, what's your why? And they don't want to say, my why is I want to be able to never get married because I want to travel with my best friends.
Yes.
But they feel like they can't say that, so they don't. And then they're always going to miss the alignment of what they're chasing.
100%.
And there's so much, we all are living our lives in a time where everybody's highlight reel is on full blast. And I always encourage people, you have to be very careful about looking at something and thinking, oh, I like them and they're fun. And being able to not feel like you have to follow the same path.
Yes.
Because I have people that I know, like, and trust and respect in business, but what they're building, I couldn't care less about. And so if I try and chase that, it's not going to matter. Mm-hmm. So you're right. Look into yourself and figure out what is your why. And I'm sure in leadership, you've done this exercise, but whenever I'm asking someone like, why is it so important for you to leave generational wealth? And if they say, oh, well, for my kids, you have to dig a little deeper.
Yeah.
But why is that important? You almost have to ask 3 times to get to the root of it.
Yeah.
And then that's where the magic happens.
Yeah. 100%.
So growing up, what was your relationship with money? Did you come from a family where the women were doing things that you wanted to do? Or were they having the conversations with you that you hope to one day have with young women that maybe your kids or your nieces or whatever. What was it like?
So I come from a single mom's family. My mom and dad got divorced. I was very little. So my mom raised both me and my sister under very hard work circumstances. She used to go to work at 5 a.m., come back at 8 p.m. throughout our entire childhood. So she really hustled.
Mm-hmm.
And what she taught us was save money so you can, make decisions with whatever you saved. And I think a lot of women are instructed to save money, not necessarily to observe systems and apply operation towards your personal growth.
It's a tool.
It's a tool.
Money is a tool.
Yeah. And for me at this point, people that are just focused on money miss the opportunities of understanding systems and applying them to your own success. And I'll give you an example of my own story. So as a busser or as a host or, as a server, a bartender, I observed what was the next step up. So if he was a bar manager, I would see what he's doing that I'm not doing that is separating us by whatever many $100 a week, right?
Yeah.
And then I would observe and try to understand what I needed to do to step up on that level. I did the same thing throughout the entire roles that I've been in my career, from busing to COO, is what do I need next? When I was a GM, which is a general manager of a fine dining in New York, that was already a pretty prestigious, never had mentorship that made it really tough for me. Not knowing that my communication skills were lacking or that I had to be less emotional and more rational. Like I never understood what I had to do. So I had to fail multiple times in order to understand. And when I became at the GM level, I was a rock star in operations. I could work 15 hours a day. I could manage hundreds of people, but I didn't have the technicality of math. And I understood that for a good P&L, for a bottom line of a company, you need to understand the business costs, business profits, labor, every single thing.
Yeah.
So when COVID hit, while everybody else was crying and depressed, I was like, I need to use this time in my favor. I don't have much time. I run restaurants. People that run restaurants don't have time.
No.
So I went online and say, what are the hottest math colleges in the US? And then Harvard popped up. And I'm like, I'm going to get a certificate from Harvard. So I did a business core at Harvard to understand bottom lines for businesses financially. And that what took me to the COO level.
Oh my gosh. Okay. You guys, please take a minute to just hear this and absorb it, because anything is possible. And I am just thinking of you being in New York City, a successful career, but here you were, an immigrant coming here. You didn't have a silver spoon. You weren't thinking of going to Harvard, but I always say everything is figure outable. And if you knew, how do I get there? What do I need to do? Some people would have seen Harvard and gone, I can't apply there.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Bet on yourself.
You got to dig in.
And you did.
Yeah.
And now look.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Acting taught me that no is the usual answer you're going to get. So that helps making you resilient. Because when you are an actress, you go to so many auditions and you won't get 90% of it, right? In my case, in New York City, being an immigrant and with a huge accent, just learning English, I got 99% no's, so I got used to the no. So for me to take risks, it's not that big of an impact because it's okay.
There was no ego.
It's okay to have no as an answer.
And when I say ego, I don't mean it in a bad way, but like, I always say my favorite answer is yes. My second favorite answer is no.
Yes.
Because let's keep moving.
Yes.
It's a no for you. Great. That means it's a yes for me somewhere else.
Yes.
Let's go for it.
Yeah. And I definitely do have an ego, and I play with that with my teams. The more I know myself, the more I see it's okay to have whatever and to be whoever.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I answer things in a meeting with all, our heads of the companies, all the managers, and I say something, I immediately pause myself and say, that was my ego, guys. Sorry, let me go back real quick. It makes me human too. Like you have to understand that we will make mistakes forever, and it's fine.
And people crave authenticity.
Yeah.
So I think that's fantastic skill.
Thank you.
What was your favorite yes you got while you were acting?
Oh, I did an off-Broadway show.
Which
that was
one?
incredible. It was called Wild Horse, and the director was Vincent Pastore, which was from The Sopranos, the Big Pussy character.
Oh,
So for me, it was like,
wow.
wow, I'm being directed by this Hollywood actor from The Sopranos. It was really, really incredible. Yeah,
That
that
was
was my biggest yes, I
I
think,
was
in
going to say, and
acting.
that's a huge success right there.
Yeah.
Okay. So, with all of that being said, now focusing on today, you're the COO of a very well known company. You have come up through corporate America, corporate ladder, if you will. What was your experience like as a woman in that space? Did you find that you were usually one of very few, if not the only? And how have you had to shift your approach to sit at that table confidently,
Yeah.
or did you not? And now it's come full circle and they've learned that you're a force.
So it was definitely difficult, and it made me, in my 8 years of New York, it made me very tough. I had to add pinches of angerness and directness and toughness and raising the voice and sharpness to get to a certain level that now I'm having to break all that down because there's nothing to do with my leadership style. It was a survival mode, being mostly the only women around.
And almost feeling like
Ever?
you had to do it.
You
Like
have
you
to.
have to be tough so they'll take you seriously. And
Exactly. Which is not necessarily healthy if it fights against who your essence really is.
yes.
But I had to do it. It's done. But now at least I'm conscious that I no longer need those tools. So I can slowly work on them and take off of my shoulders and just be really who I am, and letting my vulnerability shine and letting my self-acceptance without layers of survival to just be.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
So, what is next for you? She loves her career, obviously, and you don't even have to maybe specify what it is, but you've got your next goal in mind,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I love doing public speaking, and I have a small consulting company where I get clients from small businesses that need my help, either on themselves as leaders or within company needs, if they need to build a new department, if they need to train their teams. So I help those that way as well. I definitely want to grow my public speakings. I really love talking to an audience and being able to touch them and impact them in ways that will flourish for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I have done some of them, and the feedback always makes me so happy. So I want to continue to invest on that, and I want to open 20 more glass knives.
I hope that you do. And I hope they're everywhere because everyone needs to experience the glass knife. And I would love to pick your brain on something that I talk about in our house a lot. And when you're in a leadership role, whether it is leading a team or your own business or your children, it's so easy for us to expect them to receive what we're giving and be there. And I think one of the most important things I learned in being in a leadership role is you cannot expect someone to receive what they need to grow the way that you deliver it. You kind of have to meet them where they're at.
Yeah.
Is that something that came naturally for you, or did you have to work at it?
So I am a very empathetic human being for going through so much within those last, 16, 20 years of my career. So I have an easier understanding on what you are going through if I sit down with you and I let you talk. So I can see how I can be supported and helpful. So this comes natural to me because I've put myself in so many exposing situations throughout my entire life. He has given me the tools to be a better listener. So I certainly do that because I believe leadership is not teaching all how you were taught, but listening to all and giving them individually what they need. And
isn't that the biggest challenge for all of us?
100%. You got to get off of your skin. It's not about you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to really release any egocentric thoughts thinking that you know better. You just know different, and you can be helpful if you understand the person's real need versus your need to teach them.
Yeah. And meeting them where they're at.
100%.
And that's where like the impact happens.
Yes.
So what do you think, if anybody is listening and inspired by your story, what would you say was one of the things that you did really well financially through your journey so far?
So I never had a guide or anything like that, but I understand building financial wealth can be about investing in different places so you let them flourish throughout the time. So I think real estate was great for me. As soon as I made a little money, I bought a house. I live in my house now and I love. And I bought in a location that is up and coming. So I knew I would buy for a better price, but in 5 years I can sell and make money on it.
Yeah.
I have, of course, investments. So I do stocks here, short-term stocks in one app, high-risk stocks on another app. And I bought an Airbnb in Europe that my family manages. So I try to spread my wealth.
Diversify. Yeah.
Because if one thing fails, I still have all this little range here going for myself. And also use some money to live. Like I travel internationally 6 times a year. Like I work so hard for everything that I do, that wealth is understanding how to balance your financial success and using it in real life.
Well, if you're doing something, it's like if somebody says, oh, I eat out all the time because I love it, and now I'm never going to eat out. You're setting yourself up to fail.
Yes.
And if you work your tail off and it's just because you're trying to do this thing, life is not fun. And that's when you're going to get burned out. You have to live in an and universe instead of an or. It can't be one or the other. You have to figure out a way to balance it both. And you've said balance about 100 times in this conversation.
Yeah.
It's so true. So who taught you how to do this? Because you, single mom, I'm assuming she was probably not buying real estate all over.
No.
Was it by your own self-learning? Was it asking questions? Was it looking at what others were doing? Did you have a mentor?
I never had a mentor. And this question comes up to me a lot because a lot of people have mentors. And I think it's great if you do have one. It wasn't necessarily my case, but I am a very huge observer. And I like to observe systems and processes. So if I know that Michelle is successful, I will just observe her surroundings and see what she has. Did she invest in real estate? Did she invest in stock? But really, me personally, I'm a self-thought person. And I dig in. I think that's the core of myself. And I'll give you a stupid example. I had no idea what it would be required to purchase a home here in the US. Not even in my country, because I never had one, right? And I'm like, I don't understand. People have $500,000 and they just go and buy. So I didn't even realize you could do down payments such as 5% or whatever. So dig in, guys. If you want something, don't make it impossible for not knowing. Your ignorance will make you not have things that you deserve and that you can have. And just dig in, because worst case scenario, no, you can't do it. Fine. You didn't have it anyways before. So dig in and hit the wall if needed. You know?
And 2 things that you just said that I love, and I hope that you guys picked up on. 1, observing means putting yourself in rooms that you want to be in. You cannot be surrounded by people that aren't doing things that you want to do. And that doesn't mean if your friends aren't business owners, you want to own a business, then you shouldn't hang out with them. That's not what I mean. But you need to be strategic and find ways to learn by observing and asking questions and watching the opportunities and the conversations and the things that happen, because that is invaluable. And so if you have an interest, find the room where those interests are in alignment and get in that room. Number 1, that is so important. I would almost argue as important as like an education.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
Second is when you live in a time like we do now, there is no excuse.
I agree. 100%.
We have so much access to information. Truly, there is no gatekeeping.
Yeah.
It's not like there's encyclopedias that your family can't afford to get to you. And everybody has a phone, everybody has a computer, most people, or access to one.
Free courses everywhere.
Courses are everywhere. Find the ones that interest you, that are going to get you to where you need to go. with this caveat, and you guys have heard me say this before, once you gather this information, don't just jump in. Then you've got to do a little bit more research.
Yeah.
Like I always say, people will come, call me and say, we like to pride ourselves, myself on being, an expert in tax strategy, right? Keeping more of the money that you make. And so I'll have clients that'll say to me, well, so I need to buy a car this year, right? And it's like, why do you think that? Well, it's what I saw on TikTok. And it's like, well, okay, but hold on.
Yeah.
You don't need to spend $1 to save 30 cents if you don't need to spend the dollar, So don't just take what you see and dive in.
Yeah.
Like you said, real estate, maybe you aren't ready for it yet, but now and it's either going to help you get there or help you pivot quicker.
Yes.
Get the information and then find somebody to just kind of check off on, this is good for you, this is appropriate.
Yeah.
And then go for it.
Yeah. Information gives you the opportunity to choose. Lack of information gives you a wall.
That's right. Freedom. It's all about freedom of choice and building success the way you want it to look.
Yes. And I love freedom. It's probably my best word.
I know. It's so good. Well, for anybody listening that is madly in love with you, like I'm sure they all are, where can they follow you and keep up with your journey?
I am on Instagram at Deb Mendonça, Mendonca. I'm also on LinkedIn, Debora Mendonça. And my consulting company, the website is dmgrowthsolutions.com.
And we'll put all of that in the show notes.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Anybody that's listening that hasn't been to the Glass Knife, you are missing out. I can't even begin to tell you. It's just so aesthetically beautiful. It is definitely a girly, fun place with lots of yummies. Come visit and show the new location some love on Park Avenue. And thank you so much for being here. It was so inspiring to hear what you've done, and I'm very excited to keep up with your journey.
It felt like 2 minutes. Is it over?
Yeah. Next time we'll have you back.
Thank you, Michelle. This was amazing. I appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed.
I'm sure they did. And as always, thank you guys for spending a little bit of your very precious time with me on Talk Wealthy to Me. And as always, let's continue to change the way women think and feel about money together.